All right, everybody, welcome. Let's knock this out. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's going on? Hope you guys had a really awesome weekend. Hope it was great. It was cold, then it got warm. Somehow my house got up to like 66 degrees, 67. Doesn't normally. It's. I'll take it. I'm not going to complain about it. Make sure you guys do me a favor. Like, share, subscribe if you're new here. Please subscribe. Even if you're not new here, I need you to like and share. If you got any questions or comments, fire away, please. Fire away. We do have, there's some rumors. I'm not even sure I would call it smoke just yet, but referring to Eric Musselman. And then we're gonna talk a little bit more about Devo. We're going to talk a little bit more about Devo Davis. I mean, this is kind of just a discussion. I thought about making this a call-in show. I wasn't really sure going live at 4 o'clock how many people, or 4:15 rather, how many people would want to actually call in and discuss it. But I know I want to talk about it, and I know some of you guys want to. I mean, I know you want to discuss it enough to actually want to call in. That's different. Fire Eric Musselman. Thomas, you are probably a troll, would be my guess. That's going to be my guess. You're a troll. You're either trolling, or if you really believe that, I don't know, my guy, lay off the dust. All right. Shout out to Direct Service Overhead, the garage door company, located they operate out of Central Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas. They offer same-day services. Free quotes. They'll come out. They'll give you a free quote. Affordable outcomes. Hundreds of 5-star reviews. These guys do it better than anybody else. Again, that's Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. 501-244-3667. And, of course, the one and only, the staple of Springdale, Odd Soul Craft Bar Pizzeria. Fantastic pies. Wonderful stuff on tap. Great environment. Great place to just sit and chill, watch some sports. I don't know how many people actually want to go to Bud Walton. I mean, I'm always going to say, if you've got a ticket, go. Why not? Go. And I'm sure these tickets, the prices are coming down, so it's not that hard to get a ticket. But if you choose not to, why not go watch the game at the Odd Soul? All right. Let's see what's going on here. I really think Muss is gone. Very sad, says Honcho. Tough weekend for us Memphis fans, too. Y'all look better than we did. I don't know what's going on with Memphis. At one point in the year, I think, wow, they might be a legit – it's always – you shouldn't make these kind of claims, in November, December. But I was thinking they look ahead of where where they should be. And now they're just kind of all over the place. I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm sorry Memphis is pulling an Arkansas on you. We need to bring back the 90s Arkansas Memphis. Yeah, and I mean, absolutely. I've decided to only see a rumor and not speak too much on it, says Steve Brimley. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is what I do. I cover Arkansas sports, right? Hey, again, please make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. I do appreciate your support a lot. We had a lot of fun this weekend, hanging out with the Don't Read the Comments guys, Travis and Tim. Always fun. I enjoy doing those. I really do. I enjoy hanging out with those guys. So if you haven't already, feel free to go watch that post game where we kind of, I thought we did a pretty good job. We'd already covered like the whole game because we did the game with you guys. We all watched it together. But, and then we covered – it turned into a little bit more of a football post game, and I was absolutely okay with that. What's up, Mike? How you doing, man? What's up, Eagle? It's good to see you, man. All right. Well, we know Devo Davis has pieced out. I don't know if it's temporary. I don't know. Muss really didn't want to – Muss was okay with the press release that was put out. He didn't want to talk about it much more. But again, this was what the email read, and this came out on Saturday, January 27th. And this was released at 4:50, so 10 minutes before tip-off, if I'm looking at that right. Arkansas senior guard, that sounds right. Arkansas senior guard Devonte Davis has stepped away from the program. ... Again, it doesn't say that. I made that part up. The ... again part, I made that up. It just literally says Arkansas senior guard Devonte Davis has stepped away from the program. That's for Mike K. Wood, the Associate Communications Director at the University of Arkansas for men's basketball and men's golf. I want your take, and this was really the portion I wanted you guys to call in about, and I'll tell you why, or we'll kind of go into the deeper part. Obviously, Musselman's a part of this as well, just as far as what else we're going to discuss today. If at the moment the belief, I think, is, well, there's a lot of different takes on this. And again, I'm not going to address off-court rumors. We're not going to get into all that. I mean, you guys can, listen, that's a conversation, that can be had off camera, but, or for me and anyone else and you guys in chat, we're not going to talk about it's no one's business anyways, what these guys do off the court and what they do in their personal lives. But this is what I will say. First off, someone had brought up to me, and this was, it was a good point. They're in my DMs, and he asked me, Ty, what do we make of this, and how does this look from the inside concerning NIL? They were basically asking me if I knew how his NIL deal worked, or how that worked, between the collective, and how that's all parsed out and what have you, and has he already been paid? And the point that this individual was trying to make, and it's a good point, that, hey, if he's already been paid his NIL, why is he being allowed to just step away? Step away doesn't say quit the team or has been kicked off the team or dismissed indefinitely, anything like that. Simply says, this is, if you read, again, word for word, Arkansas senior guard Devonte Davis has stepped away. So I don't know how the NIL part of that works. If he's already been paid, let's say he's been given a check. I have no idea. And again, their money is their business. But I will agree that the university with Edge, they're asking fans, they're asking local businesses for you to donate to the collective. Well, the optics, and again, this is what this guy's point was at the end of the day, and I really wanted to. I was like, man, I want to call and bring you on. He's like, nope, not doing that. I just want you to kind of talk about this. And I thought it was a really good point. So I saved it. I didn't put it in Discord. I didn't put it anywhere on the socials. I thought that's a really good question. If it's a good point. If fans are being asked to put money into this pot and players are getting paid, they can just choose to walk away. And I don't know that that's what's happening. I'm not making that statement at all. In fact, I'm sure they've worked this out. I'm sure behind the scenes, I hope they have, where, you know what, maybe he hasn't been paid for the year. I don't know. Maybe they wait till the end of the year. I think it begs for more transparency from the university on some of this stuff, and not just U of A. This goes everywhere. And I think it also speaks to one thing I've been talking about for like 4 years. You're putting the pressure with NIL on fans, on local companies, on local businesses, on corporations, you're putting the pressure on everybody else but yourselves as a university. Universities need to be responsible for paying these players, not the community. And so now you have, and this guy's bringing this up, how many other people have thought this? Now, wait a minute. And I'm not pushing some false agenda or some narrative. I have no idea. I would say we need some more transparency. We need transparency. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair assessment. But I don't think Devo at all is like, yeah, I got your money, now I'm out. I've heard nothing but good things about that dude. I really have. I think and I'm not just saying that. I don't speak on players who I have, if I'm hearing stuff like, oh no, he's a good dude. He's actually he's a good kid. He's a good egg. I will gladly say that here. Now, if I hear, that guy over there, he's shitty. I just won't say anything, right? Because I don't want to slander anybody. I don't want to throw someone under the bus. But I have heard he's a good dude, good student, and all that stuff. Maybe he's not. I don't know. But based on the two people I've talked with, yeah, he's a good kid. So I don't think he's trying to screw over anybody, and I don't think the university is either. All I'm wanting, or what I would like to hear from the U of A, is some transparency, just for the fans' sake, so they can be like, oh, okay, so we're not just paying into this NIL for kids to just amscray. Like, they can just deuce out whenever they want, and again, he might listen. Whatever's going on, I hope he's doing okay. I hope that at the end of the day is what matters the most, is that player's well-being. If you guys are tagging him, if you're attacking him, if you're naming him on social media, that says a lot about you. I'll just say that. Listen, you can criticize the game, right? You can criticize what they do on the floor. Come on, where's your defense at, Devo? Where's it been? I think that's fair game. But, as far as dogging a player in his personal life and all that stuff, I don't know that you should be tagging anyone anyways. I really don't. Players or coaches alike. I don't think you should tag them unless you're complimenting. Hey, man, you look good tonight. Good job. You'll get them next time. And I'm sure they catch a lot of that. I do see that on socials. But again, I think that this is a good topic. And probably the title of the video should have been NIL and what questions can we ask. But I don't think that's what's happening here. But it is, again, a case because this guy's DMing me. I don't know if message boards are bringing this stuff up. I don't know if what's being said on 247 boards, Rivals, or Hogville going to be real. I try to avoid that stuff unless I get screenshots sent to me. But no idea if that's what's going on. And I don't think that it has, or else it would have bubbled over onto social media. But, so a little transparency. Devo, don't know what's going on. Not really sure. Now, here's the other side of it. How do you feel about a player? And this is really where, again, I wanted to talk about the phone, like where I wanted you guys to call in or where I thought about it. Should a guy who's stepped away twice, I mean, I know he's taken a lot, right? I mean, he's taken a lot of shit. There's no doubt. And that's got to be hard on a student. But, man, I don't know. Like, I could understand one time being, kind of stepping back for a couple of games. Twice? At some point, I think it is fair for fans to be like, wait, he's just stepped away. This isn't a quitting situation that we know of yet, He hasn't been kicked off the team. Again, Musselman didn't give us much. He didn't talk much about it, and that's fine. He's probably going to let this thing play itself out. What do you guys think? Part of me really wishes I'd done this as a call-in. What do you guys think as far as the transparency on NIL? Again, that's the only point that I'm really trying to make on that. But on the other end, on the Devo Davis situation with ESPN, sorry, with I've got an article up in front of me with Devo and the U of A. Let's get back here. Let's take a look. Let's pull it up. What's up, John? How you doing, man? He has come off. Let's see. Don't read the comments. Media. What's going on? I'm assuming that's Travis. He has come off as a coach's favorite, given a much longer leash than other players, and now that he's less productive and still making bad decisions, the minutes have decreased, and he's unhappy. And like we said on the show, or when we were watching the game together. Or was that in the post game? I don't remember. One of the two. This didn't happen in the offseason. This is happening now when shit has hit the fan. And that's where I think it's a pretty good point to be made. Like, is this him being unhappy? Is this him? Does he just really need time away? Is this a broader question about mental health and college athletes or athletes in general? There's a lot there. I'm not going to go in on all that, but I think two times, if this is him saying I need time away, and I'm not even going to say, even if he was killing it on the floor. I just don't know how much of a leash you give a player. Unless this is something internally, just Muss and the coaches, maybe they went to him and they said, listen, we need you, we think you need some time off. Then that's obviously different, but then that makes you wonder what exactly happens from here on out. Ty, I think Muss tried to take care of Devo, knowing he was playing bad, and it cost this team. They actually played better without him. I feel bad for the kid because he has. Well, I don't know that, but I have no idea. T3 July says, not mad at Devo. We don't know how long he will actually be out. He's given a lot to us Hog fans. And the school, he's still a quote-unquote kid. Let him figure it out himself. Let him figure it out and support him. Yeah, I'm not saying you shouldn't support him, but I am asking if you're doing this for him. And I know someone brought up maybe the first time was a family issue. I don't know that was – maybe it was. I don't remember it being a family issue, but maybe it was. 2 times you just walk away from the team. I can't – can you guys name a player when that's ever happened? I don't know of another time that's ever happened. I don't know. I don't ever recall that. Injuries, right? And maybe sometimes the injuries weren't really injuries. Maybe there was some other stuff going on off the court. Who knows? Don't recruit kids with. Yeah, I'm not reading the stuff about. Again, we don't know that it's necessarily. We don't know what it is. If you step away once, depending on the situation, fine. But twice, I think we're done. You've got to be stronger, and it's not good for a team that's struggling the way we are now, says Razorback 64. Yeah, I know. I hear you. Not saying you are getting upset or anything, just in general. No, I hear you. But I'm always going to give you from my point of view, and then maybe in the same way, it's also from like a fan perspective, the broad perspective. How you handle adversity can leave a lasting impression and can be something that follows you everywhere you go, says Mark Douglas. God bless, Mark. I feel like I'm in a that was very well put, sir. Very well put, Mark. Thank you. Let's see. Ty, I was told by someone close that it was a sick family member last year. See, someone had said that, and then a day later, I'd heard that we don't know how much of that. I don't know. Listen, and maybe that's the same situation twice. I always ask for transparency because Muss left us with not much. Muss didn't leave us with much on this. I think if it had been a family member, unless maybe Devo told him not to speak on it, maybe, or a family member asked Muss not to speak on it, it could be that. And that is different. It does change things. I don't want to come off as a heartless asshole. I'm not trying to. If it is another family issue, that does change things. I will fully admit that. That changes things. And we all know that's tough, man. That's tough. Whatever it could or couldn't be. I don't remember. I don't know. There were several. Feels like there were several takes on last year's thing that it might have been not necessarily that it was a mental health thing. It's hard because you're not given a lot of transparency, and maybe I forgot. Maybe Muss did come out and clear it and say that it was a family thing, and I just forgot. It's crazy to think that time flies by. Muss reaction to Devo question tells me that Devo just walked and left Muss hanging. That's the other part of it. I agree. I agree with you, Kopesky. I agree with Michael Kopesky. The way in which Muss was annoyed by the question, and he just simply said what Mike Kaywood, the SID, the basketball SID, put out. We're just sticking with that. Again, that could be a family thing, and a family member asked Muss not to speak on it. We don't know. We have to let this thing play out. I hope I don't know. I hope everything's okay, right, with his family and with him. Again, his health and well-being matters the absolute most. But if it is him just walking away, again, I'm telling you that you've got to cut ties. If it's him just walking away, you cut ties. I'm sorry. If he's angry, if him and a player they're just, I don't know, or him and other players, plural. Yeah, man, then you've got to cut the loose thread. You got to cut it. This year I could tell it's different. Well, there's certainly, yeah, you guys aren't wrong. Hey, again, make sure you hit the like button. There's, we've had over 100 people in here and 20-something likes. Come on, get the likes up. It's a good conversation to have. My whole thing has always been, I never attack players. I don't think I have. I try not to. I am a human. I make mistakes. I try not to attack anyone personally. That includes coaches. Outside of, I'm not going to go in on the Bob Knight stuff, but I'm not going to lie. I've said some things about Bob Knight. I'm not a, someone told me, Ty, he's dead, right? Are you serious? Are you really? No shit. Okay. Someone replied to that comment, Hitler's dead. I mean, he's not Hitler, but I mean, yeah. Attack anyone except the dude who wouldn't sell you the helmet last year. Oh, man. I forgot all about that. Oh, man, in the mall. Did I talk about that here? I didn't think I did. Plus the fact Muss said it was his decision to not play. Minifield makes, let's see. Oh, okay, my bad. Plus the fact that Muss said it was his decision to not play Minifield makes seem like there was an indifference between some players. We know, based on the product on the floor, something ain't right. There's something seriously wrong with this team, and I realize that's stating the obvious, but and they did play better with Brazil off the floor and with no Devo. I don't know. Is that just a coincidence? I don't know. I mean, you guys tell me. What's up, Philip? How you doing, man? Thanks for joining. Again, make sure you guys, for those of you who are hopping in here, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Yeah, that SOB wouldn't sell me that helmet. Guy was going to sit there and act like, I don't know what you're talking about. We've never sold helmets before. And literally over my left shoulder, there's a camo Razorback helmet. Bro. In my honest opinion, I think we got a bunch of guys who were the best players on their teams, and those egos came with them. Says T3 July. There was something up here. I wanted to scroll up and read. I think, did I read this one? If you step away once, depending on the situation, but twice, I think you're. Yeah, I did read that. My bad. The first time Devo left in Maui, Muss got mad at him because of the play, and Devo couldn't let it go. I do remember that being talked about. Okay, is that why they shouted in the locker room at each other? That's right. I do remember that being. I don't know that that's true. I remember that being reported, which is why the whole thing about a family issue. There was a lot of different. You just never know. And I realized too, you can't be completely transparent as a coach. You can't. I understand that. A university does not have to come out and tell you everything, like the NIL stuff. I get it. They may not want to overplay their hand. They may not want other people to know exactly. But sometimes I think transparency really goes a long ways. And I don't think Devo was doing anything nefarious. I don't think Devo was doing anything that was, he's leaving the team and he got paid. I don't think that's what happened. And again, I've already had someone DM me about it. They brought it up. It was a good point. I thought, yeah, we need to talk about it here. Let him go. Season's over anyways. So if you look at his numbers, Devo this year, he's averaging through 19 games, 29 minutes, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 0.5 steals. I mean, that's the number to me. I thought he'd be a little higher, and just 1 turnover a game, which is nice. That's nice. He was shooting 74% the free throw line, 35% shooting, 23% outside, just under 24% outside shooting. I'm going to say it. He absolutely regressed. Is it a coincidence that his play on the floor, his defense took a major step backwards, his production took a major step backwards? We saw maybe a couple of times. You remember Muss talking about him approaching typical January form, and since then, You remember that? The last time Musselman bragged on Devo, he's vanished. It sucks. Because I wanted Devo to really come out of this season, no matter what happened, on a good note. I like Devo. I mean, he really was. I defended him a lot. You know, people went after him for all sorts of different reasons. And I'll admit it, I was a Devo defender. I love his perimeter defense, putting this team on his shoulders the way he did over the last several years. The way he performed in March, you could just rely on him. Not all the time, but and then this season unfolded. I really, that sucks. And kind of the same thing. I mean, KJ Jefferson, we knew, he probably wasn't going to come back next year, but he left. Let's be real. He kind of left, and I'm not saying it's true, but I think in a lot of fans' eyes, he kind of left as the villain. You know, some of that stuff. Something else we talked about on Saturday. I think a lot of it's, not all of it, but I think a lot of it is nonsense. Players were so mad at him that they were willing to risk their opportunities. I don't know. I'm not saying they probably weren't upset with him. I'm not saying that. I fully expect these guys in a couple of years to show up on some Arkansas podcast and be like, yeah, man, screw that guy. KJ, he was mean. He had a really cool car, and we were mad at him. He was wearing really cool clothes the year that we went 4-8, despite the fact that he did that the prior 2 years. But we're really mad at him, and I'm sure that's going to come out. I mean, you've already had, the stuff out there about, cancer people, the people that were cancerous in the locker room, and some people believe that was targeted at KJ. Maybe he was. Maybe he was an asshole, but I don't know that those players sacrificed their season. You talk about some guys that were possible. I'm just saying, look at NIL. It's changed a lot of the way things work in terms of how these guys are paid, and their performance certainly comes into. It comes under a magnifying glass. Hey, Super Chat, haven't had one of those in a while. What's up, man? If you would have told me 2 years ago KJ and Devo's career here would end like this, I would have laughed. Says Matt. I'm with you. I'm worried about this team. I love Muss. I don't care who it is, but man, whatever is going on, it has to be cut out. This team can move forward. Who exactly is the floor general on the court? Devo, Brazil. We're supposed to be the leaders returning, but non-existent. Says Mark Douglas. Mark, in his words of wisdom. Speculation kills team chemistry. And it hurts our standing in the eyes of recruits. Wow, I mean, it's always going to – Philip, speculation's going to always exist, man. No matter the level of sport, it's going to always exist, especially when you face a little bit of turmoil. All right, let's move on to Eric Musselman. What the hell is going on? I was sent – as I went live, I was getting text messages. Someone sent me a screenshot. There's a certain message board that's already posting coaching search hot board. Listen, all right. Let's go to where this began. Again, we're gonna discuss, and this was quote tweeted by Curtis Wilkerson. This is from a Twitter handle called Coaching Changes. Now, this all started with Trilly Donovan. Several weeks ago, he posted, he talked about Musselman and the possibility of him moving on from Arkansas. I don't remember what it was word for word. So now you fast forward to today, literally 4 hours ago. This Twitter handle has 28,000 or 27,000 followers. They say in their bio they say they make jokes, so maybe this is parody. I don't know, but someone's trying to convince me these guys are legit, so I don't know if they are or not. It might be just someone trying to drum up some drama. Take it for what it is. This was quote tweeted by Curtis Wilkerson. Maybe he's in on the joke. I don't know. But he says, we are told from an unproven source. It's funny how this starts off, right? An unproven source who we instinctively trust after asking a few follow-ups that Muss is working overtime on on his exit strategy. This has got to be troll bullshit. Already sending third-party inquiries to Minnesota and Arizona State, as well as several less realistic potential landing spots. This is what you guys are talking about in Discord. This is a troll job. He also turned off comments. Accounts only tagged by coaching changes mentioned in the mentions can reply. And it's been quote tweeted to death. I can't read the quote tweets. Oh, here we go. Barstool Hogs quoted it, said, "We are told from an unproven source that you are a professional Muss hater. If Muss dumps us for," and this is who is this? Razor Zach. If Muss dumps us for blanking Minnesota, I will blank my. Okay, I'm not going to read all that. All right. Texas TXP 247 every damn year. He won't go to any of those schools. This has got to be. It's got to be bullshit. But here's the thing: it was talked about. Trilly, what's the guy's name? His name comes up all the time. It started several weeks ago, but it's every year. It's every year we got to go through this. This makes like at least twice that we've gone through this with Musselman. Guys, when you have, despite what's happened this year, despite what's happened this season, when you've got a coach that's made 3 straight Sweet 16s with a pair of back-to-back Elite Eights, okay, you're a hot commodity. The way, I guarantee you, the way his agent is going to push this season is, yeah, he rolled the dice. It didn't work out. Look what he did. Look what he did at Nevada, and look what he did at Arkansas. Look at the coaches that have come through since Nolan Richardson. Since Nolan Richardson, look how many coaches have come through. I mean, no one has found that level of success, man, that Muss has had so quickly. So, yeah, I think it's probably – I feel like this is probably bullshit. I've never heard of – I've never seen coaching changes before. I'm not familiar with that Twitter handle. Oh, man. Everyone wants the hot chick. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Oh, we got quote tweeted as we're live here. Gross. A whole damn podcast discussing rumors. This is from FQ Arkansas of Devo and Muss. Let the man deal with whatever he's dealing with on his own. Last thing he needs is rumors spreading around, let alone a damn podcast on it. Sounds like a gossip podcast. Again, gross. Yeah, FQ, over 1 million views, my friend. Over 1 million views. And we talk about all things Arkansas, especially things I'm getting tagged in and getting sent DMs over. So you can cry a little harder. Feel free to go tell FQ to cry harder on Twitter. It's so funny how these sites get so ass hurt over what's being discussed on Arkansas shows, podcasts, YouTube, whatever. We discuss all things here, my friend. You're more than welcome. Hey, we do call-ins. You're more than welcome to call in. Hog Twitter is so soft, I'm telling you. Speaking on using the portal to build a team, it's easy to scout. It's easy to scout, but you can't scout on who's leading the team. Yeah, we're talking about evaluation, right? Muss will adapt to the uptick in coaching prowess in the SEC. He's still Eric, no shirtless Musselman, by God. Yeah. So, oh my goodness. It's funny. I love it. Yeah. So to reiterate, Devo Davis off, stepping away, don't know what. We're not, and like we said at the beginning, we're not gonna. If it is family stuff, then hopefully it's nothing too serious, right? And that's, like I said, if that's what it was the first time, that's fine. But if you're stepping away, I think there has to be a question of how long of a leash do you give a player to do this twice in 2 years? I think that's a fair question to ask. I think as fans, I think that's fair. You guys should have that right to ask. And I do think there's nothing wrong with asking for a little bit of transparency with this NIL stuff. But again, that's more of a broader question for all schools, right? We want them all to be transparent. I'll say it again, loud and clear. I don't think Devo took a bag of money and ran. Not implying that at all. Trilly Donovan is the guy's name, by the way. Trilly Donovan is the guy that started the whole Musselman, the whole idea of Musselman leaving. He might. Okay? If I've ever said he's 100% wrong, or that's not going to happen, that people are wrong for saying that, I misspoke. Anything, I've also said 1,000 times, absolutely anything can happen. And when you look at his contract, again, I actually pulled this up. Now, this is written, this was, when was this? April 14th, 2021. And it talks about Musselman's contract. According to the terms of the contract, Musselman would receive a $1.5 million retention bonus if he's still the head coach in 2026. If he leaves before the end of next season, so obviously the following season when this was written, he would be required to pay a $7.5 million buyout after next season, so that number drops to $2 million. After the 23-24 season, it drops to $1 million. So again, there's some basis for this, but saying that you believe that he's 100% gone means you have no faith that Hunter Yurchek is going to be able to counter anybody that comes along, or that Hunter's not going to provide him with a healthy extension to his contract. I mean, from what I understand and what's been put out there, as far as I know, the NIL stuff it's not been a player problem. Players are, I guess they're getting what they're owed, and he's been able to do pretty well here, recruiting both high school and out of the transfer portal. So I don't know that there's a whole lot of weight to, the fact that he's 100% gone just yet. We got to let it play out. I do think Hunter will, I do think he'll counter or he'll extend, right? He'll drop another extension onto the contract and make it healthy, assuming, there's room for all of that. And I'm sure there is. I don't know, again, unless it's a West Coast team. Now that does provide, that's a little bit of a concern. I've told you guys before, a West Coast team does make me a little bit nervous, for sure. But, like, Louisville has been brought up. C for life, Celtics for life in our Discord swears up and down he's going to Louisville. That I think the claim that he made was that Muss's agent has reached out multiple times before taking the Arkansas job. I don't know. I've not seen a link to that. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I have no idea. I'm not sure I've heard that one before, but anything is possible, man. I mean, some stuff just happens to slip through the cracks. So who knows how this plays out? I would say let it play out. Let's see what happens, right? I have faith. I mean, listen, the Lane Kiffin thing still makes me feel a certain type of way with letting him take on Ole Miss. It does feel like he just kind of about-faced once Ole Miss got involved. I don't see him doing that. I think he gave him a somewhat – I did have issues with the buyout in Musselman's contract, but I think at the time, stepping back and looking at it, maybe it was pretty competitive, I think, at the time. But now it's like you're probably going to have to compete despite what happened this year, and then you wonder about Muss's market value after this season. What is Muss's true market value after what happened this year? But I know his agent, I'm sure they're going to do this. They know what they're doing. They're going to bring up what he did at Nevada and what he did at Arkansas in these previous 3 seasons before this 2023-24 season. That's what they're going to do. Now, hey, look what he did in such a short amount of time. You haven't seen that in a while here. So, yeah, his market value, I wonder, though, how much of this year affects Muss's value. Probably still not a lot because everyone wants a proven winner, and he is a proven winner. I mean, fans were begging to get out of the second round with Mike Anderson, and it never happened. Of course, some of that North Carolina's involved. You know, how can you? It's hard to fault. I think Mike Anderson had some fantastic teams. They just, you know, where they got seeded at, they just happened to come across again North Carolina. But Musselman, you know, again, he's fared quite well in March. All right, I got you, Ty. Check my comment. Oh, poor FQ. Listen, you know, yeah, FQ's a whiner. I don't know. I've never had any issues with FQ before. I think he once followed me on Twitter or whatever. He's quote tweeting me now, so he's got a problem with us discussing this. I guess we're not allowed to have an open discussion about what's happening. And yeah, they're rumors, but I'm also kind of laughing at what's been put out there at the moment. So if anything, I think it was a pretty proper reaction to what was put out there, if you want my honest opinion. It's not like I'm sitting here telling you that there's any truth to them because I don't know that there is. I don't know that anybody really knows. Ty, what happened to freshman Devo? Each year he's regressed. I don't know if it's that simple, Charles. I don't know if it's as simple as each year he's regressed because, again, there were times last year where he lit it up and put the team on his shoulders and, you know, and then you go back not long ago in March, what he was able to do. It's just been this year has been and I hate that for him because, again, Devo was one of my favorite, and he still is one of my favorite players on this team. He has not regressed each year, but this year he did. It says, don't read the comments. Yeah. We rip an FQ. Don't harass him. Just let him know, like, hey, he's our guy. Oh, man. Don't harass him. Kill him with kindliness, as it were, as a boss of mine once told me. How dare you discuss these things? You know, because we have so much more to talk about, right? With NIL and a full roster being free agents every year, coaching in pro ranks, football/basketball might be more attractive with fewer head coaches. And that is the other side of that discussion, right? How many coaches? I think Josh Pate talked about this, about some proven OG coaches that are like, you know what, I'm going to dip out for a little while. Could that be not just in football? Could it be in all sports, especially football and basketball? You know, could the NBA, is there maybe an NBA team? You know, I mean, there's going to be some coaching changes on the rise. There always are. I don't know. That's a whole different discussion. I have no idea if an NBA team would be interested, but you get what I'm saying. Is it possible that is also what could be happening? That he's, you know what? And it may not just be him either. This whole NIL transfer portal stuff is wild. You would think that Muss would be better suited for it, though, right? When you're talking about NIL and the portal. You know, having coached in the NBA, of course, it's a little bit different because it's way more structured. And that is the issue with the NCAA right now. That's the issue with college athletics is there's no structure. There's none. So, but at the same time, you would want a guy who's at least been around that in terms of, you know, players making a lot of money and you having to coach them. You would think that would be an area where, and he has, Muss has strived the last 3 years, which is why this year is so incredible that it's been so bad. Bayfall, next man up. It's time to see what he can do. I'm excited for Bayfall. I really hope he sticks around, puts on a little bit of weight. I really do. So, again, I think right now, and I'll say this loud and clear, I don't know that there's much to these rumors. That's why we have this show. That's why I do what I do. I don't know that there's much to them right now. Maybe Maybe you guys are right who've said this now for the last several weeks. Maybe you guys are dead on. And if so, I would love to borrow your crystal ball sometime. I would – it's also possible that Hunter Yurachek might be able to keep the guy here, right? I mean, I think we have to let it play out. But it's also cool. That's why we have a Discord. Again, maybe people on Twitter just don't know what's going on. That's why we have Discord. It's why we do these shows. We have an open discourse, dialogue. We talk about it. We discuss it. And if it's bullshit, which I don't know. Again, I don't know if it's complete bullshit, but it feels like, you know, it felt like clout. That tweet seemed more like, you know, I don't know. All right. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Remember, keep it civil. He's always welcome. I do call-in shows. He's more than welcome to come on. I don't know who runs that account. I heard a rumor Louisville's gonna try to get Mick from UCLA, and if that happens, that could open the door for Muss at UCLA. Rumors, though, who knows? Yeah, it's a long ways to go. I think Cronin's buyout is pretty hefty. I think his buyout is hefty. Muss's buyout's a little bit more manageable, which is why it's going to be on Hunter. And that's going to be, again, some fans may not like the extension that if Hunter offers him and Muss accepts based on what happened this year. I seem to remember fans getting really upset about Mike Anderson's extension. So, yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. Again, those of you who are taking to Twitter to deal with the haters, to deal with FQ Arkansas. That's bizarre. I think they also called out Woo Pig Pod too, right? I kind of want to spend time just reading these replies. I'm so sorry. He feels that way. That's so sad. All right. I appreciate you, boys. All right. We'll be back Wednesday night post game. Am I having a brain fart? I swear that game's Wednesday night. We haven't moved to the Tuesday. Let's take a look here while we got it pulled up. Arkansas taking on, I'm not going to go over Arkansas, Kentucky. That we've done that to death. But Arkansas on the road, yeah, Wednesday at 7:30. Hey, at least it's not 8 p.m., right? 7:30 against Missouri. Missouri's atrocious. They're looking for they're bad. I mean, the level of bad. We could briefly kind of go over that here for just a second. Yeah, it's been a rough year. These guys are 0-7. They have, so it's 8-12 overall. It's been a really bad year for Missouri. I'm not going to lie. I didn't think they'd be this bad. They're averaging just 74 points a game. Their rebounds per game, 32 rebounds a game. That is really, really bad. They're giving up about 74 points a game. They're not a high assist team. Arkansas, I don't know. I haven't put up my prediction yet. I may wait till Wednesday to put my pick out there. Oh, man. I don't know. I guess I'll wait till Wednesday. I want to lean towards Arkansas really bad on this because I do think they're better than Missouri, but I don't know. That it really feels like a coin flip kind of game. It's the battle for who's the worst in the SEC game. Really, really going to be a fun one, let me tell you. So they're 0-7. Vandy is 0-6. Arkansas is 1-6. So that's your Vanderbilt's 5-14 on the year. Mizzou again 8-12. We know Arkansas is at 500. It's sitting at 10-10. It'd be nice to just be able to beat them on the road and sweep them. I don't know that it's very meaningful outside of the fact that it's a rivalry game. So, yeah. All right, I'll see you guys Wednesday night. Try to enjoy the rest of your week. And, yeah, I'll see you guys on the post game.